How you doing today? Debbie is not feeling very well, and so short notice, I'm just going to kind of come in and show a few of the things that we recently got in the store. And I know that you had What's New Wednesday just yesterday, but my goal was to try and actually make a couple things on the fly, to use things in a different way maybe than we've seen. I don't know, it might not be any different than what we've seen, but I'm going to do my best. I quickly grabbed a few items as I realized that I really was going to go for the enchanted moments, because that would be something that I could do quickly. But there are only 5. So with only 5 in stock, I felt like that's not really fair for me to do, because then that takes it away from somebody else for purchasing. So instead, I am going to switch to something that is, I know you guys have seen a lot of Graphics 45 lately, but I'm going to come in and use the pattern cardstock pack and show you a couple of different ways that you can use this to really make something shine, and instead of going for the regular pack. So that is what I'm doing today, and we'll see what happens, because I haven't even opened any of this yet. So,
on the fly.
So truly on the fly. I also have some foam squares, a piece of acetate, some confetti pieces. So yes, there is going to be, hopefully, we'll see, a shaker card. I'm not positive if I can do it, but we'll see what happens. Regular foam squares. I grabbed some of our toast velvet. I thought that would go really well with the colors that are here. And then I grabbed journal cards, which we've done before. But I don't think that we've actually done these with the pattern packs. We usually have some other form of cardstock in the background. So just to be able to show you how much you can make these other things really shine as a paper pack for the, let me see. Oh, and this is the first time wearing contacts in a really long time, and I've broke my glasses. So I thought, okay, I got to just get down and do it. But now I need readers. So I'm going to be doing a lot of back and forth today, guys. Sorry about this. It is called the Patterns and Solid Papers. You get 16 in a pack. It's a 12 by 12 size. And we'll look at a couple of the papers inside, because they really are a neat idea. And each one actually goes with, these colors would totally go with the Alice Tea Party, right? But they make the print specifically for what those patterns are connected to, the wild and free items. Margie is not teaching you tonight. Margie is going to do the best that she can do. And that's all that I can say about that. So let's take a look at the patterns and solids so you can get a pretty good idea. Thank you. I'm grabbing a bottle of water because I haven't even had a chance to drink some water, and with going online to talk a lot, it really is hard. So Bryce kindly brought me some water. So you've got the different animals, as well as this one has kind of a diamond look to it, little dots. And you get 1, 2, 3, nope, 1, 2 of each kind. So this one looks like that on that side, and this on this side. Debbie is doing fine. She just kind of did a little bit extra, and so is feeling a little foggy and had to get up pretty early this morning. So we're going to just try and fill in where we can for the day, and we'll see what happens. Here's our greens, and you can see what their solid, this is their solid, even though it is a pattern. So you can see that. Let's see if it is the same pattern all the way through. Yes, it is on the back. These are your fronts. Yep, she just needs a little bit of rest. And again, same pattern on the back, just a different color. And then look at those. Those are really pretty. Okay. And then I believe that this is the last one. I could be wrong, but there's this. And there's also the leaf pattern. So if anybody has any questions before we get started, I am going to just try and grab a few card pieces from out of Debbie's pack over here. And so if you guys can bear with me long enough to be able to do a little bit of that. I think I'm just going to go with really simple 5x7s, because if I don't, those are not 5x7s either, and it's got a note on it. Let's see. Here we go. No, those, the ivory could work. Yeah. All right, we'll go with the ivory, which makes a lot of sense. I have no idea how many cards we're going to be able to make, but we'll give it a shot. Thanks for your patience. And Debbie had said that Peggy is doing really well. She had told me that she called, and Debbie called earlier, and she sounded just like her normal self, said that she was fine, everything's good, seemed to be in a good mood. And if she didn't know that she was already in the hospital, she would think that it was just a normal day for her. So that means some good and happy spirits. So that's good to hear. So I know that she appreciates the prayers and the thoughts, because it definitely is hard being away from your home and everything that you know, and then being told that you have to stay. And she did say that she read up on a few things, and that she found that one of the things that was listed as a symptom is the possibility of lower appetite. And every time that Debbie has called, Peggy's been out looking for food. So we don't think that that's a symptom. Okay. All right. Now that I mixed them all up, hopefully I can get back to the plan of action. All righty. So I grabbed the chipboard. We've had chipboard on a couple of things, but it's pretty rare that we use the chipboard. I know that Debbie has used the stickers and the ephemera packs, and then just the little clips that you have in your actual kit. So I thought I'm going to grab the one that we don't usually use a lot of, and let's see what we can come up with. And then again, some journaling cards. And I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to use these or not, or whether I'm going to just make it really challenging and just stick with what I've got. But aren't these pretty? So I really like how they did this. It made it very it doesn't feel so safari. And I think that we tend to see animals a lot of times, elephants, giraffes, rhinoceroses. We tend to see them in a lot of safari, browns, This has brown in it, but it also has a lot of other colors that make it nice, and it brings just a little bit of added color. Isn't that one sweet? Okay. I just might have to break into these journal cards after all. Should never open something unless that's what you want to do. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with, make sure that the one piece is off. Okay, it's acetate, so I can't really see it. So, okay, let's look at some of the chipboards. I think I want to go with this one first, just because around my house there's a lot of love of elephants. So if we had a safari animal to choose from, most of the time it's either an orangutan or it's a elephant. That's usually what I hear about the most from my family group.
Interesting combination.
Yeah, two totally different portions. All right. So I grew up in the Bay Area. And in the Bay Area, we had of California. And there we had quite a bit of various forms of entertainment. And one of the things that I grew up with was a place called Marine World, and it was called Marine World Africa USA. That was the full name of it. And Marine World basically had animal shows that you would think about that you see at a lot of the other types of places. And one of the things that they had was an elephant. And the elephant's name was Margie. And she died while I was I think I was a teen. But I got to pet her and I got to ride on her and I got to have this great experience with this elephant because it meant something so much to me. Because I was named after this elephant. That wasn't the case. It really wasn't named after the elephant. But I was pretty positive that that's the way that it should be. I think I'm going to go with the green. So, and the other thing that was really cool, especially when I hit first grade, was, or at least I thought it was cool, was the fact that Margie was played as one of the, see, this is where I don't know Star Wars very well. It was one of the animals that had all the hair on them, and I'm gonna blow it for the name, and my husband is gonna kill me. Not the Wookiee.
Not the Wookiee.
Not the Wookiee. It was what they would ride.
Oh.
Yeah, it was what they would ride, and I wouldn't say that they look like a mammoth because they didn't really look like a mammoth. But anyways, the way that they were set up in there, she was underneath the costume that gave everybody a ride. So now she was a movie star on top of it.
Okay.
So anyways, all right, that's my story about an elephant and a little bit more about my crazy world. So let's see. A lot has changed. Betty, I'm sorry that you're not feeling well. You know, it's that time of year, and I think more and more people have ventured out without worrying about whether they get sick or not. And so I think that we're seeing more colds and things just in general. And since so many people we got one. Our whole house got one from somebody at Emma's school who went to school with symptoms, but didn't have a fever until later in the day. And so our whole house got sick. So hopefully it is a bug and it's not anything serious, Betty. But it's definitely happening more and more frequently that I'm hearing that people aren't feeling well. So and get all the rest of this paper out of our way so that I can see what I'm doing. Except for the card.
Yeah, you might want that.
And I think I cut it a little bit too short. That's okay. We know how to fix those things. Okay, glasses back on. Oh, did I make that crooked? I think it was user error in the placement because I'm kind of half blind without these things on. It's a bad thing. Okay. So last night, was there a discussion about the challenge pack?
Yes.
Did you guys talk about that?
Yeah, we showed the whole pack and then did the challenge, and then it's in the newsletter.
Okay. So I did not read a whole bunch on it. I just quickly read the little bits and pieces. It's some paper that I've seen hanging around here for a little while, and so I really like the paper. It's beautiful. So when I saw what the plan was and what the idea was behind it, I thought that was terrific. So, yeah. Okay. I think that well, I think that we'll go ahead and do these two things, but let's see. It says into the wild, wild, wild and free. Anybody have an idea of what they like most? So I've got the flowers with the Born to be Wild, and it's upside down. That's great. Okay, so we've got Born to be Wild. Here's another one. We've got the wild here. I don't want to do one of the lions or the, maybe it wouldn't be so horrible to do the rhinoceros or the lion with the elephant, but I think it takes away from the other ones. So then there's Into the Wild way up here. And there's Born to be Wild flowers, Born to be Wild and Free with blue. And then this one also says Wild and Free. So anybody have an idea of where we're at or what you might like to see that we put on with this? I'm game.
Well, I think that first skinny one out under the big one at the top.
Oh, the Born to be Wild with the flower and the tag?
The one on the far side.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that one matches the color of your
think so
thing
too.
really well.
I agree. That's the one that I headed for.
Mary R suggests Into the Wild.
Into the Wild is a good idea too. We'll put both of them on here. This is a lot of what I do when I'm making my cards, trying to decide what I like together with one versus the other. I think that one is a nice touch, but I think that based on size, you may lose a little bit between the two. Yeah. So I think that I'm going to go ahead and go with this idea. I like the pattern that I saw on here a lot. All the different markings. And I think that this very first one is supposed to be, I don't know, similar to an elephant, maybe? This one feels more giraffe.
Yeah, that's definitely more giraffe.
So I'm going to say it must be this one right in here, down here. So I'm going to take that and use it across the paper to give it a little bit more, design on here. Okay. It's really hard for us to see. You always have made good choices, so whatever you do is okay with me. Can you explain the challenge a little bit more, Bryce?
Let me get the email.
That's a good place to start.
I still have it. Okay, so the challenge, you guys asked for a challenge kit, and they've created a dandy kit. It has a beautiful 8x8 inner piece paper pad, 2 sheets of acetate inner piece collection. The designs vary from kit to kit. 2 sheets of the vellum from the inner piece collection, and the designs vary. It has 2 sheets of rub-on transfers, 1 black and 1 maroon. The designs vary. 1 chipboard heart and 1 yard of 5/8" wine double-sided satin ribbon. The challenge is easy. You can add more supplies if you want to. You can make anything you want, but we ask that you use all of the kit material types in your creation. Send your photos by February 10th. You can send them to Debbie's phone or to her email, or you can send the actual creation. And on February 11th, she's going to do a show, all of the creations that have come in, and then they will choose a winner for a $50 gift card.
So there is the challenge.
Yes.
And I can tell you that the papers are really pretty. All right. Glue. Not that. The colors are like a forest green color and a maroon. And I believe that there's a little bit of purple. Yeah. Bryce is gonna drop a little piece in there. There's the link for you to be able to see it. So I say grab it, have lots of fun, do something, push yourself a little bit, because something unique, and everybody does different things. So that's what I like seeing is how everyone else does what they do.
With the same stuff.
Yeah. The other one was just a tad bit too wide for me to be able to put on, and the glue that I was trying to use is all not handy for me to just squeeze and go. So, so we're going to do things with tape. Okay. I took a little strip of velveteen. It's about 1.25 inches. So my little piece says Wild and Free on it at the bottom of the paper, along with the elephant style print. And then I've got that velveteen. So somebody can just reach right over and touch it and pet it and feel that. I love how velveteen feels. It just has this.
Tactile.
Yes, very tactile. Agreed. You see what kind of brads we might have. I know.
Looking for a color?
Not necessarily.
Just a simple brad. Or...
A simple brad is just fine.
Okay.
It should have its marking on there that says brads, and I think they're towards the lower end of things, or it's the next top drawer.
Brads and fast.
Yeah. That would be pretty funny to have somebody, you get your card back looking a different way. Just going to keep a little bit because I put more tape on than I think that I have room for border. So put it on right side up. Make sure that I can see the lines. Sorry for that, Bryce. Okay. I have a very interesting thing that's happening with glasses with these readers. It's causing the card to look like it's bowing. Nothing like something fun today, right? Nope. Maybe it's just me. I'm bowing. I think we'll call that good. So I was having some allergy problems and my nose was itching. And when I went to just rub it very lightly, it hurt a lot. And I went, what is happening? Well, right where the glasses were hitting the bridge of my nose were swollen up blisters. Now, why that happened specifically, I do not know, but it did.
Of course.
So with that, you know, I did think about the leaves. I wasn't sure if we had any of them.
two styles, a little larger and then a smaller leaf.
Yeah.
Which I thought was nice. And then there were some real tiny ones that.
Yeah, I think any of these will work really well. So we're going to get into these. This is made by the company that has our little snowflake brads too. And I know that we have some of these. I don't know how many we have in the moment. So I can't quite answer you that way. And I think
You're going to need a whole bunch.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's going to be handy enough or not to be able to reach where it needs to reach. So I have a tool at home that's done by Hunky Dory, and it allows you to just push and it doesn't hurt my hands. And that's like a huge thing, is that my hands don't hurt when I put something right here in my hands. And so to push down, I absolutely love it. Okay, we'll give it a try. But I have been very thankful for that tool, because it basically kind of does like a drill bit, and you hold it with your hand. It's really nice and comfortable, and you push down onto your paper and it twists it to go through the paper for you. You don't have to use a lot of pressure. It's really simple to do. I have a feeling that this probably won't work. So we may just have to be creative. It's not long enough. Yeah.
Long enough.
But we can be creative. So normally I would say, hey, your brad goes right here. And we really do. We have a great item. And the first time that I asked Debbie to order it, she said, oh, well, that looks interesting. I don't know that I would use it, but that looks interesting. And then she saw how simply it made the holes for my banners, because I have a couple of them that I have a big hole puncher, and then that I can move around to whatever size I want. And then I have this little circular one, and man, it's come in handy so many times. And so for people that like to do things with hole punch, it's not going to be long enough. Yeah, that's okay. Thank you for trying, Bryce. I can make this happen. We just bend off the little brad piece, and we just make it look like we put the brad right on there. You know, there's nothing with fooling the eye a little bit, right? So on this, with the chipboard, I would use glue personally over taping, just because it's heavier. So you want it to be able to have a good sturdy foundation. And I wouldn't go overly zealous with the glue, but I certainly would not tend to go light with it either. This will work out perfect. Thank you so much, Bryce. So Emma has started her new school back like on the third day after we had moved. So we wanted to make sure that we didn't have her lose much in the way of timing with school. And so we had her go to a little school in town. She had been at a public school system. However, this town's numbers were great for the high school. They weren't so great for the elementary school. Oh, wow. So I don't know why that happened. And it could just be that I didn't read it I didn't read close enough to see who was reviewing versus not reviewing. But a lot of times you don't know when you're moving to a new place exactly everyone there. So this is what I've done, guys. I put it off to an angle. And I'm filling in the space with these extra pieces. I guess that's really what I should have stated was my goal. Because I think that you're right. This would have been a great size, but my concern is that it would overpower the little elephants up at the top. So by doing it this way, I think that will be good. And what I am going to do is I'm going to do something a little bit differently here too. I'm going to take my foam squares. Maybe I'll do the roll. Okay, I'm going to do the roll just because I know that it moves a lot faster for us when we're doing this at home. I would be using the little dots. But when we're trying to not make it so painstaking for you guys,
little tabbies.
We'll go ahead and go for it this way. Alrighty. So I'm pulling out to give it a little bit of dimension. And because the chipboard is nice and thick, it will also give dimension in there on top of it. But you can choose how much or how little you want by how thick your foam is. You could do it without foam too. So there's really, you can just glue it right on. But I think that it just kind of depends on what look you're looking for. And I tend to like things that are a little bit thicker just because it really makes it pop. I don't know where the chicken part came in, but giraffe with skinny legs and I'm a fat old hen. So I'm not sure where the chicken came up in this conversation, but that is hilarious.
Thelma referred to herself as a winter chicken. And Annette said, no, you're just a fall chicken. That's the part I got.
So anyways, she's in school, she's enjoying it. We do live in a smaller town, and we're right outside of St. Helens, Oregon, which is not to be confused with St. Helens across the way in Washington State. But you can see St. Helens very clearly from up there. So
from your house you can see St. Helens?
No, I can't see from my house, but from the roadway, from the highway itself, you can see St. Helens come into view. And I think that that's why they called the town St. Helens. It's the only thing that I can come up with. So
it's across the river from St. Helens.
It's across the river from St. Helens. Exactly. So anyways, oh look, now I left the glue lid off. Oh, good. So she gets to go down, and because it's smaller little towns, they have a first and second grade combo. And out of that combo, there are 17 children. And only 5 of them are girls.
Oh my.
Yeah. I'm thinking that this teacher has her hands full.
Yes.
And then you throw Emma in there.
There's over the top.
They didn't know what they were getting into. She's a very good little girl, and she's so super sweet. But she definitely wears Nana out.
Roberta's asking if this will be a kit.
This will not be a kit because I grabbed this and said, what can I do? And this happened to be handy in the classroom from What's New Wednesday last night. But I think that if I have a little bit more time, I'm more than happy to kind of just keep going. We'll see how many we get. I do run a lot slower than Debbie does. But if you want, we can certainly give it a try and see where we're at. I think I am going to take a couple of these smaller cards though, just because of I think for the big things like the journaling cards, I think that they'll be good. I think they're going to be a little bit harder. I think that they'll be a little bit harder in a 5x7 to do this size.
Thelma was making reference to being old. I told her she's not a winter chicken yet. Spring chicken. And
Gotcha.
she doesn't want to be a chicken, a hen. She wants to be a giraffe.
Gotcha. Thank you for catching us back up. Sorry about that.
Betty asked a question I missed about the challenge. Let's see if I can scroll up.
So she's liking school. She's working hard at trying to figure out how to become friends and missing her other friends at the same time. But she's done a really great job of navigating. She's looking forward to the spring, and we found out that one of the little girls that lives nearby is only 6 months older than she is and has a sister that's 5. So that's not going to be a problem for Emma. She will be thrilled.
Correct, Betty. You just need to use parts of each of the elements in the kit. You don't have to use the whole kit. And you can add as much additional things as you like, but just use a piece of each of the items in the kit.
Man, if you get that kit, it's already going to make a lot of cards for you, all on its own. Yeah, I think she's been doing it for quite a long time. But I think that if you add your own, that kit will go and go and go. So you decide to throw in some Miri. Well, then you've got some more.
Yeah.
And it has vellum in there as well as acetate. I know. I'm asking hard questions.
Let's see. Yes, it has 2 sheets of the inner piece collection vellum.
Yeah. So it's got both vellum and acetate. Yep. So one of the things that I found works great is using your best glue ever for your acetate, because you can hide those little tiny dots on the piece without it ever being noticed, because it dries clear. So with those, if you've got clear spaces and you're not sure, oh, I don't want that to show, it really works well to do your best glue ever. Make sure that you let it dry before you put it on, before you put your other element on top, because that's what's going to make it nice and sticky. And it also works for parchment paper. In fact, long term, it holds better, has been my experience. So there's a little tidbit, guys. A lot of times the glue will be stiff, and they make a certain type of glue specifically for parchment. But so far, I have found that the best glue ever works absolutely wonderful. Okay, Well, so speaking of giraffes, how about we shoot this little guy? I love how many of these have the herd animals are shown in herd type settings, in my opinion, on these. You've got your, the elephants got their baby. And if I can see this correctly without my glasses on, I believe that this one has a baby too. There's our little guys right there. And so there are two.
Okay.
And this one, I really do like this stripe effect. Let's see. Do I want to do that with... Yeah, I got to think about this. There are so many different options in these prints that you can choose from. It kind of makes it, well, which one do I go with? But I think I'm going to use a little bit of this. Yes, giraffes are not blue, but today we're going to pretend like they had a very great fashion party. Okay, and this I cut at, not intentionally, but I cut it at exactly 1 inch. So go figure that happening. That never happens for me. Did I hear Ashley come up with the mail?
Just now.
Just now.
So I will run off and be right back.
So Bryce very kindly jumped in and I said, you can just leave me with the camera. I can probably figure out how to do it. But it's a lot harder to read all the notes. Bye, Ashley. But it's a lot harder to read all the notes as it goes by. I see that I started the conversation about boys and girls and motion, and I think that it just happens for certain ages anyways. I really do. Anyways, bless his heart, he had a full day. So for him to even come in here and sit with me is very, very sweet. So please make sure that you thank him for me again the next time you see Bryce, because he doesn't usually have to do Thursday classes unless something happens, like I'm sick or I've got another important thing that we're doing. And right now I am up to date on keeping the classroom ready to go. And I have done all the sales taxes. So we are on a good place. I don't know. I think nope, I don't like that on there. Let's see. What other options do I have? Nope, looks... The brown I probably would have been willing to go with it being so close, but it looks too much like an oak right above those green leaves, palm trees. So I think I'm just going to stick with your good old regular brads. And these are super tiny. These actually came off of the handles for graphic 45. Those little pull handles on the T things, they come with these little tiny brads, and they're so cute. Little tiny guys. So we'll go ahead and tuck them right in there. I want the element of that metal brad in there. Just look at the difference that it makes. If I can hold this upright. See the hole versus not. So even if you don't have the hole punch to go in, you can always glue it down like this if you've got some of the handy dandy glue that we have around, because it holds very well. So the Cosmic Shimmer is what Debbie usually uses in her glue bottles. And so I can tell you that that's the last thing I filled in the glue bottles, so it should hold very nicely for us. Good night, Betty. Okay. I will check with Debbie and see if she has an interest in making it a kit. I just didn't want you to end up having this evening come and go without us being on. I know that it's nice to have that time to be able to talk and join friends in the middle of the week. I made the glue bottle really stick. So, and I'm not sure where her pins are. They got to be around here somewhere. Haha. Usually when she asks, I just go run and grab something. I know where it's from, but I don't necessarily sit at her desk on a regular basis. Still trying to just clog on me. Well, let's see what else we can do. My mommy always told me that if at first you don't succeed, try again. So we'll just keep trying. Haha. Just had to find the right one. So I'm taking, and I've already put my one piece down. Remember that glue is going to dry clear. You shouldn't see it. You shouldn't be able to feel it. But when I put in a brad that I'm not putting all the way through, I do try and put a little bit of glue so that it stays in place and doesn't move and fall off with time. And yes, you may have to clean up your metal just a little bit to fix it. This one, I'm going to have to probably keep it laying down all the way until it's completely glued. little hole out. And so one of the things that I found that I use with chipboards, because they have these wonderful spaces for brads, but they also have these great spaces for other items as well. So here I just have the word wild here in the middle. And I was starting to put it through this way, but I think, let's see if I can make this the right size to do this with. I'll start again. So you can use twine, you can use little 1/8 inch, the little fine thin 1/8 inch if it was up here and handy. I know that we have some up here, but running to go do this rather quickly and short notice, I didn't have the opportunity to really collect too much, but there we go. Plenty now. You guys were talking about that Debbie's faster than most of us. You know, Susan, when she would come and have the opportunity to be here at the same time when we were doing classes, she's fast. She can take almost, sorry, I'm trying to read the information at the same time. Using brads, they are one on the things that I haven't used for a long time. Yeah, brads can be so much fun. Thank you, Thelma. Okie dokie. I got distracted, which means that I cannot tell you where I was in my conversation because I'm trying to keep track of too many things at once. So that is the way that life goes at my house. I feel really badly when I have to say, I think I did this. but it just kind of happens. And the more busy that you get, the harder sometimes it is to keep track of everything. I want to take my little ribbon right here, and I want to give it a little bit more of a ruffle effect. So then that way it looks more like the ribbon is laying. If I put just both of them up like that, it's not going to look good because then it will just have a little bump at the top. But if I take this little side and put it on this side. Oh, I think I was talking about ribbons. So with the ribbons, anything that's a 1/4 inch or lower will do the trick. This ribbon we normally carry in the larger size. We just happened to get one in this small size on accident. And so it was handy for me to grab really quickly. And I like this ribbon. I've always liked our glitter ribbons that we carry. And so I figured, you know what? I tend to like smaller ribbon amounts. So why not take a little walk over to this section of ribbon and see what I can do with it. So we don't actually carry this ribbon, guys. Okay, so basically what I'm just trying to do is make my ribbon stick in 2 different places down here on the bottom. And honestly, probably my best glue ever is my best bet to do that. So we'll see. I might just have to kind of say, well, I can work on this a little bit later. And that's okay too. But then that way it gives it so that it looks a little bit more like it's a flowing ribbon instead of static. So I tend to do that a lot with my ribbons. And why did I choose glittery ribbon with animal safari prints? That doesn't go together. But for me, sure it does. My husband says that my world will always have glitter in it, that so long as Emma and I are around, he's going to be vacuuming up glitter forever. And my daughter is not much of a glitter person. She's not much of pink or any of those colors. So I kind of missed out on those types of things with Elizabeth. Not that I'm complaining, because she's a great kid and she has so much fun. But she was a busy kid, and really enjoyed life to the fullest every moment of every day. Something new would happen. And Emma enjoys clothing. She wears uniforms at her new school. And my mom happened to be the one talking to them at the time. And she called me and she says, they're going to have uniforms. I don't know how that's going to work with Emma. But so far, we've been able to do it quite well. So if you can see here, the ribbons move up and down from different spots so that it gets rid of that staticky and gives it a little bit more of a 3D. So there is card number 2. Alrighty, and I have no idea what time it is, but I think that I should probably move towards that the one that I said that I was going to absolutely do, which is the shaker card. In it, I am going to go ahead and choose from, I could totally go for a chipboard, and I may end up actually doing a chipboard on the outside. In fact, that was my thought process on this. So we'll see what happens. But my initial reaction is I should really do a journaling card for this. And since we've got a nice big space, we can absolutely do that. Okay, so now we get to choose, because I haven't been in this stuff very much. What you saw is what I've seen too. So we have a leopard. And so my mom calls and says, I don't know what she's going to do, but bless her heart, we went looking online at polos one evening before we got ready to move. And I said, okay, honey, we got to choose you something, but they have to be polos. We found things with ruffles in the actual polo material that went down the front of the shirt where the buttons would normally be. And she said, it just had to have a little bit of me on it, and I'm okay with that. Sweet, sweet thing. These would be fun to put on the inside too. These ones that are bigger wording. All good things are wild and free. Got our little monkeys. Born to be wild. Into the wild. Our little rhinoceros. I kind of like him. Haven't decided if I'm going to go with the small cards or the bigger cards. Born to be wild. All right, so let's take a look. So since I already did the giraffe and I already did the elephant, even as though they're pretty, I'm not going to choose from one of those because we got to, all animals have to be able to be showcased around here. So here's a little monkey. I like him too. Then here's our elephant, our lion. I'm going to put him down in there. Into the wild with our rhinoceros. And then those are the little elephant ones. And then bigger wording, which I think will be great to go in the inside of this card. So, and then we also have the zebra. I really like him.
He's cute.
So, okay, so I'll give you guys a choice. Do you want to have, because these are the ones that I really like. So you know how you always get drawn to the things that you like, and that's the reason why you choose some of the things. So these are my two. But if you really like one of the other colors,
no, don't give them more choices. Come on. Stick to your guns. Come on.
Bryce says, but if you really want something different, I am more than willing to do it.
Evenly. That's how this works.
Zebra or monkey is what I've been told. Bryce has put the foot down. I hadn't had an opportunity to tell my mom, so my Peggy got COVID and is in the hospital. She's doing well. She's given him a hard time around there, so that obviously means that she's doing well. At least when I hear how Debbie tells it. I had made the decision because Debbie and I couldn't connect at the first of the year. My mom felt really impressed that she needed to have that before she started her new treatments in January. So she said, I really would like for it to get there soon. So I ran down and I put it in the mailbox last week. And so she was able to get it and have it for the hospital visit. So
Yes.
If I know that we kind of briefly had talked about it once, but my mom does prayer shawls, and what she does is that they're something that you pray over. You pray while you're making it. Mom loses count a lot, so sometimes it's harder for her to remember to do that while she's counting. But she always goes and tries to find people from the church that pray over it, and then she mails it to the person who is ill or is having a tough time with something. So I have one like the monkey. And so Peggy has said that she's very thankful for it and that it means a lot. So monkey is what I'm hearing at this point. If anybody so says something different.
Vote now or forever hold your peace.
Correct, because I'm starting with the base. So we're going to start with this color first. Because of all the floral and everything else around it, no matter whether it's the monkey or the zebra, still have the ability to make that choice. As long as I haven't put everything else on it, we're good. So with either one, I'm still going to choose this brown. I think that it will look really nice on there. It is very difficult with this little cutter to make sure that I'm going the right direction and try and fit it in with everything else that's up here.
Yes. Debbie said she missed you coming and cleaning up her desk. Say good night to Annette.
Good night, Annette.
She says, thank you for a great class, and she'll finish watching later.
Let me see. I think I put the wrong one back. Nope, I did not. Okay, I'll have to just cut this again. Sorry, without the glasses, this could be a lot of fun. Really think that I want the leaves to go down on it instead of, and there is a pattern there. And so rather than the leaves going up, you would normally see this type of leaf hanging down. So I didn't pay attention to that at first. So I think we'll do it that way. Did I say goodnight, Annette? I know that I said goodnight to Betty. Okay. Well, I have been busy when I've been here this last few weeks, between trying to get kits out the door and the sales taxes done last week, and kind of just busyness. I haven't had a chance to really go through and clean up her desk.
Well, so she messes it up faster than we can keep it clean. So. Had you been here, I'm not sure she could really use that excuse. Anyway, a creative mind.
Yeah, it can get a little messy sometimes, but just sometimes.
Sure.
She is a free spirit. And if my mom was here, she would just say that I am a free spirit too. What she would tell me is that I was a pill. But Emma reminds me of the same. As she's getting older, I realize more and more how there are some similarities between the two of us that are definitely strong. I don't know what just went flying, a bread, but it went flying.
Yes.
Okay. I do not understand how this happens each time. I think that it must be the way that these cards fold up that we have, because each time they're perfect before I cut the edge off. But I didn't cut any off of the actual paper. So they just have just that little bit of extra that hangs over between one fold to the next. Woohoo! It was not going to go my way. Alrighty. Well, I've heard monkey. So monkey it is. Okay. So when you're doing a shaker card and you are working at trying to keep it where you want it to be, because it's a shaker card, you're going to run into problems if you don't make sure that this is absolutely laying flat and down, because otherwise all of your little goodies can catch up here at the top. I'm going to put my foam right along this top edge. And so my plan is to be able to make it to where you don't see the foam here in just a little bit, but we definitely don't want all of our goodies coming and filling up and getting possibly caught on a bottom edge or a top edge or on the sides, because then you don't have as many things that you can shake around. Oh, I wanted to show you that. Look at on the back of these journaling cards. Aren't they pretty? So you can, and each one is different. They're not the same. So they're all different. So can you imagine having one of these on the inside even, and then you can put your writing on it? In fact, I think that I like that idea. So we'll do just that. We've been going through a lot more glue lately, which is okay with me. I tend to like glue with things. The only thing in this particular case with glue is that the tape won't stick as tight, but it will also have less likelihood to ripple. So you have to just kind of choose your poison and figure out what to do from there. Okay, so in order to do this card, we're going to need something that is going to help us with making a top for it, because otherwise we're going to run into not having, when you have a topper piece, you've got a topper piece, right? So that's going to, and you have your topper set, you can just do it fairly quickly and easily. You just pull off the top little band and you can put it right on. But with something like this, you're going to have to figure out what is going to be important to keep and what isn't.
Do you have a chipboard piece? That's the size of the words.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
I don't
think so. Yeah, no. Although that is a really good idea, and you could
the shaker over the words and not the whole.
Oh, just over the words?
Yeah, just a thought. Or just over the monkey or something.
Yeah.
The picture.
It's a good idea. I'm going to try this one first. Sure. We'll just see. Have a feeling that this will go well. I think I like him the best, and it's because it gives me a lot of flat lines and straight lines. So let's see what happens. I think I'm going to take this. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that except for by hand. So normally I would have my little X-Acto knife handy somewhere and have my ruler set up, but I don't have that right now. So we're just going to try and wing it. Winging it is fun.
Sure.
No, it's not. I have plans on top of plans.
Oh, is that right?
True.
Okay.
When we've had vacations, I want to make sure that, well, one could be raining and cold, whereas the other one could be like really too hot. So if we set up vacation plans in both places, then once the weather gets a little bit closer to the time, then we can find out. That's how I handle vacation, just so that you know.
Okay.
So I'm not a good wing it person.
Yeah. Our idea of vacation is wake up on Saturday and say, hey, let's go on vacation. Where do you want to go?
I have tried to do that on different occasions. And you know what? We ended up planning one place. We planned one of our trips, and it was going to be 112 in one place, and it was pouring down rain and going to be 50 on the coast. So we just took a pin and said, okay, we were willing to drive this far. Let's put it on the map, back when paper maps were actually used. Let's put it on the map and let's see what we can end up with. We ended up in Montana, the national park. Beautiful, beautiful. Both of my kids say that it's probably one of their favorite vacations. So you never know. Just pop in the car and go. And it did teach me that I didn't always have to have a plan. It really did teach me to do that. But do I like doing it that way? But I also am willing to change things up. So here, I'm going to tell stuff about my dad. I'd be in big trouble. My dad is somebody that reads the tour book. My mom reads the tour book too, and she sees things that she thinks will be neat or something that she would like to do. My dad will have it all planned out, have all the timelines figured out. We're going to go here and we're going to go there. And so I did grow up with it, which is, I know where I get part of that from. But my personality is also that way. And so, but my dad, he has to be on that timeline. I'm not like that. If we get to something or we don't get to something, that's fine. But my dad has to be on the timeline. There is no way that we can't, it's our responsibility to stick to that timeline. And so if we are far away from something else, but we walk by and we see something that looks neat and we want to check it out, not happening at our house. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm going to cut a little bit of this so that it's just a little bit easier for me to wield. Make sure that I can see it. Okay, so this actually was what was on the back side of it. So it looks actually really good. If you want, you can use the front side of it and it will be a little bit closer to what we're seeing on this one. Just because of the postage card space, it looks the same. If I move this out of the way, see, it's got the pinks and the greens. And so it will blend quite nicely with this little postcard piece. But we could just do something different that I didn't have planned, and we can do it from a different point of view too. And if I were going to do it, I'd do it with the light in the top and the other on the bottom. So I actually think that this looks really fun this way. It doesn't, it takes out that postage stamp look and instead gives it a totally different one. So I'm going to go with this. So first things first, when you want to use one of these, you're basically creating your topper piece. And so it's going to go on top, just as if you were gluing it and this was a whole piece that you pushed out of one of your toppers. And I know that we've done several shaker cards, but I can only think of a couple that we've done where we're making the actual shaker piece. I know that we did one last year around Easter time. I'm pretty positive that that was not a topper. It was the one that you guys had that did I think. Yeah. Anyways, keys and things and a little piece. And the one thing that is not fun with acetate is trying to get everything lined up without having the glue show everywhere. And there's glue on the glass mat, so. What I try and do is come at it from the outside and move it in. Then that way I'm not getting a lot of glue on it, but sometimes it just happens.
What baby wipes are for.
Except for you can't really use a baby wipe with this paper because it doesn't have the film over it. Yeah. But you can go through with an X-Acto knife or your pokey tool or I'm using my fingernail, and anywhere where the glue kind of moved and came into the viewing area. I'm just slicing it with my fingernail and then getting rid of the rest. So it is doable that way. Now, I see several things from sticking to on here. But one of the things that's happening is if I bring this up to you so that you can see it, right here I've got my line from where I cut. I tried to stick within that line very carefully, and they do match up exactly. But with the glue in there, it's trying to float on the top. So it may not stay completely closed, but that's okay because we have other things that we can put on it. Whether it be a bow that we cover it up with, or we can put on one of our brads. We can even hang another little saying or another little picture from the chipboard. So I'm not too worried about that part of it. Can't see otherwise. Okay. So I've called every couple of days to the eyeglass place, because all I need is them to order the frames that I have, and they can just put in my other frames. They were almost brand new glasses in July. And so I don't have anything on my health insurance currently because I have to wait 2 years if I haven't changed prescriptions to get a new pair. And they are not there by appointment only to come in and see them, which is fine and dandy if they would return your call, but so far they haven't returned my call. So I don't know if it's just getting from the answering service over and then just not making it onto somebody's desk. But this is like the 3rd time I've called in the last 2 weeks. So I think I'm going to have to just go down and knock on their door and say, hey, I need to set up an appointment. It's working with my contacts, and actually it's working a lot better than I thought that it was going to, and it's kind of forced me into using them. I've wanted to get used to them, and so I haven't, but I'm always worried because I'm at work. And so, oh, I need to be able to see this, and I can't rely on this or that. And so it's just getting used to them. And I actually thought about when I was sick that I should get used to them then. Yeah. But I was sick and I didn't feel good. Oh, yeah, I didn't want to get used to it. Exactly. So
you don't want to sticking your finger in your eye then.
Yeah, exactly. So I just kind of went, yeah, that's not happening. Okay, so I've taken and I've put it over the top here, just like this, and shake your tape time. Well, we used it. I used it. Yeah. This is what happens when you lose things in a very short little radius. There's that. There's this. Not there. There's this. Nope, not there. Sorry, guys. Not there.
Gone far.
Nope, it couldn't have, but it did. So I am going to rely on the second bit of the roll.
Here's another one.
Here's another one.
That's why we have multiple.
Exactly. Okay. So you're just going to run it right over your corners. Make sure that it stays inside the middle of your line if you can, because if you can keep it towards the center, you'll be less likely to see it.
Roberta says, look on the floor.
I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised at all, Roberta. Do we happen to know where one of the embossing pillows are? I do know that they're in the little drawers in the carousel. Probably a good idea to do this before we do anything else. Thank you. Get the sticky off the edges, give it a little bit of a I like to make mine a little messy, just because then I know that it's not going to have everything stick to it. So mine has always a little bit of a cloud dust that goes with it. Okay. And what I chose was Nuvo's light gold hexagons. And I have the pink tutu confetti. Ha ha! New bottle.
Brand new.
Now, for some reason, I thought that these were the Fiery Phoenix ones. So we may not have this color in the store. And that is me grabbing something and thinking that I had one thing when it's really not the right one. So the Phoenix ones are very similar in color. And so if you want to replicate this, you may not be able to find the pink tutu.
Say good night to Thelma.
Good night, Thelma. Okay. 1 minute somewhere just okay. I am not putting a whole bunch in there, and it's a pretty big space, but I also, you guys can get the idea, of course, and I don't want to take all of Debbie's stuff. Okay. Now for me, I chose to take the side that has like the lighter, just kind of faint, almost watercolor look. And I'm putting the bold down there with my picture. That's how I think it's going to blend the best. Somebody else might want to do it differently, and that's okay too. Whatever your heart desires. It could be the postage stamp side even. So it gives you a good idea that it's very workable and easy to use. these papers and how well they all blend together. So it might not have been tons of them, but man, they sure do cover the whole thing. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So here's our little guy so far. Let's get a little bit of decoration on him. I'm going to go ahead and use some of the gold oak leaves up there specifically. And then I also was thinking about using a piece of our chipboard. So let's see how far we go with this. Okay, so our chipboard is here, and it's got a lot of sayings, but I think we'll take this little guy. Or not, because he's not focusing. Let me see if I can hold still. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? So it's going the opposite direction of face-wise. And so I think that I can very nicely put this little monkey up here in the corner, so you won't see the seam work where I had to clip it. And in fact, it may look nice just simply this way and just leave it be. I wasn't sure if I was going to put on some ribbon or where I was going with it, but I think I just want to put a leaf here on the top and a leaf down here on the bottom. And I think that they'll look really nice with just that very simple way of doing it.
Less is more.
It can be.
If you can get into packaging.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's the way that I'm going to go with this one. And then of course we've got the pieces that are in the middle, or I shouldn't say the pieces in the middle, the ones that are in the journaling cards, we can take and put one in the middle of this card. That's what I was trying to say, on the inside. Middle, inside, everybody knows what I mean, right? Not really. Okie dokie. Guys, I know that we're getting close on our time, so I think 3 is the perfect fit right through here, especially for me, and the fact that I hadn't even thought this through at all. Impromptu. And speaking of impromptu, in order to see the words, I'm going to have to go up and off of the frame a little bit, which is quite all right. I'm still going to put my little leaf down. And because it is sticking out and over the top, you'll want to get a little bit, even though it is chipboard, I would recommend that you take some of your shaker tape and put it underneath for this corner so that it doesn't, see right here, this little section right here, using some of that shaker tape to just kind of lift it enough so that it doesn't lose its support with time. Because what will happen is that as this gets a little bit longer and a little bit longer in time, of someone having it, it's going to start pulling from that acetate more than likely and try and push this up. So with time, you're going to end up losing this little guy from sitting up on top, and he'll separate down in here. Whereas if you can lift it up here and keep it higher, it's going to be pushing into the acetate a little bit. So I recommend that you do that. I'm not going to do it now just because of time.
Diane says, good night. Great cards, Margie.
Good night. This guy might take a little bit too long to cut. I mean, to stick. I can try a little bit more. You just have to be this way for it now. And personally, I think that if I was going to do this on the inside, and I'm not going to take the time to actually do it on the inside, but I think that I would go with the bigger of the cards with the words. And you've got this little one right here. You can do this one, or you can do the one that is bigger that says Born to be Wild. But it's on the other side. I'm looking for it. I can't find it. So you can do either or, and I really kind of like this idea. You can write your little note down there at the bottom. And so he can just tuck right up on inside there. So these are the 3 that we have. And you can see that there's a lot more to go because I haven't even cut into 2 of the, I haven't even used a whole half sheet yet of the 3 colors that I've cut into. So you've got a long way to go, and there's still tons and tons of fun stuff to do with the chipboard and with these journaling cards. So I would encourage you to give this a try. If you like it, you can do it with any of the Graphic 45, because really what I'm showing you is just kind of like a little version of a way to do this, but you can use this and do it with the Cottage Life or the Let It Be or some of the other Let It Snow. Right. You can do it with any of them, and we've got the items to be able to do that. Yeah. So
use the pattern papers.
Yep. Use the pattern papers and have a lot of fun. And if you already have some left over from some of your other kits that you've had too, this is a good way to use that, is by pulling out your patterns and using some of those extras. So have a good rest of the night. Debbie will be here on Saturday at 2 Pacific Standard Time. And I do not know what she's doing, and I apologize because I have not been keeping up with what she's doing with doing the rest of the inventory taxes and things that we're needing to do around here. So I can't tell you. So it will be a surprise for us both.
It's one of the kits over there. The right? No, the one in the front.
The one in the front. The
birds.
The birds, the little.
I think it's little Tweety birds, but I'm not positive. Now that you say that, maybe she took it in the house.
Maybe she did. The birds, which were for today. You mean these birds?
No.
From the magazine?
Birds. Yeah. Well, maybe.
Not this one?
I'm confused too.
Okay. Well, we're going to just try and see what we'll be doing. And if it is the birds, I am sure that she will make sure to get that back on track for next week, and then she'll have something that she can do then too. So have a good night, and thank you so much for being with us today.